Hello again, and welcome to another episode of 1001 by 1, where each week we take a film out of the book, 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die, discuss it, analyze it, and ultimately decide whether or not it should be in the book. My name is Adam St. John.
My name is Britt Reinholdt-Hobson.
And my name is Joey Rogate.
And today on 1001 by 1, the three of us are going to isolate ourselves in a large, empty hotel in the Colorado wilderness so we can hunker down and finally write that damn book that we have been promising to publish for years. And honestly, I wonder which one of us is going to succumb to the predatory ghosts of the hotel first. Who knows? Yes, today we are tackling Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, based on the book by Stephen King, and arguably one of the least discussed movies in podcasting history. I don't think anybody has any opinions about this one at all. But before we head down that long, circuitous hallways of the Overlook Hotel, we're going to give you some recommendation. I promise I can say that word. It's been a fucking day. Goddamn. Adam, let's start with you. What are you recommending to go with The Shining? Does it have anything to do with The Shining? Nothing at all? What's on your mind?
This is great. A couple of things, right off the bat. I think to answer your question, though, that you posed at the beginning of the episode, and to make a veiled allusion to an episode that is not coming out, I think the answer is me.
I was going to say it, but I didn't know if that was funny or not. I was like, oh, my brain said to go Adam, but I shut my mouth and I was like, maybe in 6 months?
No. And it's literally only going to be funny to the three of us and possibly people in our lives who might have known. But no, the answer is me.
I think I'm the Danny, you guys. I 100% think I'm the Danny who's just in the corner being the weirdo and going, red rum, red rum.
And and that makes Joey Scatman Crothers. It just gets
100%. We have no Wendy.
Well, yeah, that's we'll get to that character. And Britt, if this is your recommend too, please jump on in because you mentioned this. My recommend is Dr. Sleep.
Such a good recommend. It's not mine, but I fully support this recommend.
Great. It's awesome.
I've seen it probably 4 or 5 times, and something that actually I think might come up in conversation later. I have only seen the director's cut of Dr. Sleep.
Really?
Me too.
I like being in the world more. It's Mike Flanagan taking on the sequel as written by Stephen King, and I did not read the book, but kind of my understanding is that Mike Flanagan kind of had the task of being faithful to the book Dr. Sleep, but also trying to bring in Kubrick's The Shining. And it makes for a world that I'm really, really oddly, maybe morbidly fascinated to kind of be in. Britt, and I don't want to steal your thing.
No. You're good.
Rebecca Ferguson.
My least favorite actor. Killer.
I am so I'm just gonna be
she's killer. Don't kill her.
She's so scary.
I'm so oddly attracted to her in that movie. She
Dude, me
is
too.
Enticing.
100%.
He's like, I brought Melissa the hat.
Listen, I am in a bigger city. I could find that hat right now.
I mean, weather that thing down. It'll be gorgeous.
Oh, man.
Oh, you should do it.
Okay, something to think about. But yeah, Mike Flanagan's spin on the sequel to The Shining. It's really good. Everybody's really good in it. I check it out. And honestly, watch the director's cut. It's really good.
I totally second that. One thing I'd like to add is apparently Mike Flanagan, the only way he could get it greenlit was if he did it as a spiritual successor to not only Stephen King's novel, but Stanley Kubrick's movie. So he was given a huge job of having to somehow marry two very vastly different sources. I reread The Shining for this, and vastly different sources. And I've gone to see Mike Flanagan live with his wife, Kate Siegel, and they're the cutest couple in the world. They're so cool. I'm such a Mike Flanagan fan. Just rewatched Dr. Sleep yesterday, and I was like, damn, this is such a good movie. I love it so much. So great recommend. Yeah, I can't stop talking about it. Sorry. Joey, what's your recommend?
A movie I've never recommended before, but just feels appropriate. I'm going to recommend Backrooms.
Yes.
New movie's great. Feels a lot of hallways leading you to bad places. So watch Backrooms.
It also is like postmodern horror, so I think it totally tracks with recommending along with another place that has unending hallways that seem to lead to nowhere.
Everybody's saying liminal now, so
liminal
it's all
spaces.
liminal. It's all liminal.
So I decided to. I'm not going with Backrooms this time. I've never recommended it either, but I do love it, and I highly recommend everybody see it, especially if you can still go see it in the theaters. But I'm going to recommend a film that I think has like the similar bones to The Shining, from the pacing to the music to like production design, and it's a movie that doesn't feel like it needs to give the audience a ton of explanations, and it trusts the audience to come up with an answer for themselves. And that is 2015's It Follows. Such a good movie. And it follows a protagonist named Jay who finds herself stalked by an unknown entity after an encounter with her date. And it's really stylish, super spooky, and it gives the audience a chance to decide what the film is about. It's currently on Canopy, so if you're in the US, like, go watch it if you haven't. Or if you have, watch it again because it's worth another viewing. There's a lot in there.
It's awesome, and they're starting to film a sequel in August.
Yes.
Yeah. Naomi Ackie they added, who I think is great in everything. I'm super pumped
Naomi
for it.
Ackie. I got really excited. I jumped out of my seat. Oh, so good. So good. Great. So that's a couple of great recommends. Dr. Sleep, Backrooms, and It Follows. Honestly.
Fuck yeah.
Bangers
those are
all
bangers,
around. Yeah.
I didn't get to rewatch Dr. Sleep for this, and I really wanted to. It just time's not my friend, but it's really great.
We'll do a 1001 by
see it.
1 by 3 on it at some point, so you'll have to. And then we can do like best literary sequels that were adapted by a very competent director or something like that. Something really bizarre. How we always do on 1001 by 1 by 3. We just do what sounds good to us.
I love that somebody misinterpreted hotel movies when we posted it on X. Thinking like movies that you would watch in a hotel room.
Oh,
that was
love
great.
that.
Really
my gosh, what did they
appreciated that.
say?
It was like
Porn.
Face Off.
Oh, yes. That's a perfect movie to watch in a hotel. Like, honestly, so into that. Is there a hotel in there? Do they live in a hotel?
No. There's a weird loft. There's like
There
a drug
is.
kingpin loft, but
That's true. Maybe it was a drug hotel. We can say that. All right, so let's get into our normal stuff we do for our episodes. It's a me episode, so who knows what's going to come out. This was directed by Stanley Kubrick. The screenplay was written by Stanley Kubrick and Diane Johnson. It was based on a book called The Shining by Stephen King. It was produced by Stanley Kubrick. The cinematography was by John Alcott. It was edited by Ray Lovejoy, and the music was by Wendy Carlos and Rachel Elkind. Jack Nicholson played Jack Torrance. Shelley Duvall played Wendy Torrance. Danny Lloyd played Danny Torrance. Scatman Crothers played Dick Halloran. Barry Nelson played Stuart Ullman, and Philip Stone played Delbert Grady, or Charles Grady. Depends on what we're talking about. Is there anybody else you guys would like to shout out?
As long as you get Scatman in there, I'm good.
I was just gonna throw out Joe Turkel as Lloyd the bartender.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, no, sorry, Joe, was that his name?
Joe Turkel, yeah. He's also in Blade Runner?
Yes, he is, isn't he? Oh, that was a bad one on me. So this movie was notoriously panned at the time that it came out. I think there are quite a few films, especially in the 80s, that we didn't realize were as good as they are until much later. In 1981, this did win a Saturn Award for the Best Horror Film. And it was also nominated for 2 Razzies, Worst Director for Stanley Kubrick and Worst Actress for Shelley Duvall. Neither won, but in 2021, the Razzies rescinded Shelley's nomination. A little too late. Like, come on, it's 2021. How dare you? You did it back in 1981. The damage was already done.
Yes, no, the Razzies and their significant cultural impact is
Significant. What do you think is more important, the MTV Movie Awards or the Razzies?
The MTV Movie Awards.
Obviously.
That's like a legitimate thing for a certain age group
Best
in a
Kiss.
time period.
We still talk about Best Kiss all the time. There's definitely no Best Kiss in this movie, I would say.
Are we sure?
Maybe. Do you love that old lady? Hey, friends, Is this film in the IMDb Top 250, our favorite film list of all time?
I gotta think yes, and I'm gonna say it's in like the 50 to 100 range.
All right, what are you going to say?
I'm going to completely agree with Joey.
Yes, you both are correct. The Shining is currently sitting at 67 as of today, Wednesday, June 17th, when we recorded this episode. It is right between Paths of Glory and The Great Dictator. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny because I'm watching
Paths
that probably
of Glory.
tonight.
Is that high?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Have you
Wow.
seen? We'll talk about it in a few weeks. But have you seen the Paths of Glory letterboxed? How high it is?
No.
Oh, okay.
Dang, people really love that film. I've never seen it, so I have no opinion on it yet. I've been obviously saving all my Stanley Kubricks for, to cram them in 10 days, like I usually do. Hey, friends, was this film inducted into the National Film Registry?
I'm gonna say yes.
I know the answer, so I'm not going to guess.
Okay. Well, it was. Can anybody tell me what year it was inducted into the National Film Registry?
2001.
I know it was more recent than that.
Are you going to just take a stab at it, or do you know?
I think I know.
Okay.
Second guess, Adam.
Just do it.
Is it 2018?
It is 2018. Good job. Other notable films from that year are My Fair Lady, Brokeback Mountain, and Jurassic Park.
Hot damn. There we go.
Like, what a good year. I know not everybody rates My Fair Lady, but I fucking love it. So I was pretty excited to see it there. Okay. Do you guys have any reviews you would like to... Most of them were really mean. Like, there was one I found from Variety that was horribly mean and had, like, some pretty awful slurs in it that I was like, I can't even read this. So I chose not to bring any, but do you have any you'd like to read for us all?
Oh, I did. So not a review, but I've been reading 2 Kubrick books, which makes me an insane person. But I do like that. I don't know who Richard T. Jameson is, but Richard T. Jameson has emphasized the way that Jack Nicholson boomerangs back and forth between character and star, and between good acting and bad acting. He goes, quote, Jack Nicholson plays Jack Nicholson playing Jack Torrance as King of the Mountain, which I thought was.
I like that. I think that's actually pretty legit.
Funny.
That's funny. That's great.
Pretty legit. I think
No, I don't have any.
I think my review of it would be like, it got a lot better when I got older because I understood the themes, right? Like, I saw it when I was 17, didn't appreciate it very much, saw it when I was older and went, hot damn, I really like that. So
we covered this on Best Picture Cast a couple years ago. Won a Halloween tournament. It's one of our best episodes, I think. It's really good. I meant to re-listen to it, but I just didn't get a chance. It's a really good episode.
I chose not to because I didn't want to know your opinions on it. And I'll listen to it after because I thought today I was like, I have time. I could listen
to it when it came out. That's fucking cool.
I'm sorry. I probably did, but I just don't remember what happened on the episode. I've listened to a lot of podcasts in the time. Okay.
I think let's steer the hatred towards me. Britt didn't do anything wrong.
I do lots of things wrong, okay, all the time. I am quite annoying. Okay, I have 2 lists for us today, friends.
Oh, Britt's coming in with 2 lists?
Well, no, I was going to have you choose.
One liminal horror?
Yes, one. I wish. I could have just made one that's like Britt's liminal horror list.
That's all I've seen in the past 2. Since Backrooms came out, I just keep seeing the top liminal horror. That's like what YouTube has become.
I mean, that's basically what YouTube was.
Did I tell you? So. I think Dean found Backrooms. Did I tell you guys?
What?
This?
How? He's like 3.
Yeah,
like he slipped into a back room?
Yes,
I mean, potentially. So sometimes he wakes
someone's
up.
gonna find it, Dean.
Yeah. So real quick, so he comes into our room one night and he just goes to sleep, and he wakes up and he goes, "I had a bad dream." I was like, "What was your bad dream?" Jesus was chasing me in yellow dens that were never ending, but they were the same. It was just the same den over and over and over, and they were all yellow, and Jesus was running after me. And I said, "That's horrifying." And I said, do you know what Backrooms is? He said, "Nope." And I said, "Dean, sometimes you find weird stuff on YouTube when I'm not paying attention. Have you seen Backrooms?" And he said, "No," but I definitely think he did.
Oh, he definitely did. He definitely did. It's all over. Oh, my God.
The Jesus part is hysterical.
That's really funny. I mean, between Dean and his Backrooms and Ray and his Victorian ghost lady, like, Jesus Christ, the kids in our lives are just pretty, maybe they also shine. Who knows?
Did I tell you I took the girls to go see Obsession?
Oh,
How
yeah, you
was
did.
that?
Pretty good. You know, Sophie cried at the end, and then I felt really, really bad, but it wasn't because of what she was seeing. It was at the end, right after, well, spoiler, I guess, for Obsession, when the best friend gets shot in the dome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When he hides in the bathroom and she is pounding on the door,
Yeah,
Sophie couldn't take that. And
that's
she
fucking
like
scary.
broke down. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh shit, I gotta walk out.
That's fair. That's scary.
So good parent? I don't know.
Yes,
We'll figure that out.
absolutely. My dad would have brought me to Obsession as well. So great parent in my book.
Dean's lying to me about seeing a Backroom, so obviously I'm killing it.
Yeah, well, I feel like Dean's an enigma, man. That kid. Every time you send me something, I'm like, yep, that sounds like Dean. You know,
It's awesome always, but yeah.
Oh, so awesome. Okay, so I have one weird list and one normal cinema list. So I'm gonna give you guys the choice of which you would prefer, unless you want both. But that feels like a lot because there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there is a lot to get to. Boy, I'm thinking weird list for
Yeah,
this
Great.
movie.
Let's go.
Okay, so 10 theory. Okay, this is from Screen Rant, my personal fave. I always find one from Screen Rant. 10 theories about The Shining that I'm obsessed with, even 45 years after Stanley Kubrick's movie was released. That is what this list is called. I have a feeling we're not going to get to a bunch of the conspiracy theories, so that's why I brought this list just in case, so I could at least highlight a couple.
I did rewatch Room 237.
I sure did too.
So
and
did
I
I.
have opinions.
I don't like it.
Me neither. Me neither. I think
so
it's trash.
uninteresting.
But
Do you want to know why we don't see their faces? Because they're fucking losers. That's
Yeah.
why.
Like, I
I
like the
also think
filmmaker
that's
was
an
like, let's
editing.
find the most boring people ever with the worst opinions and just keep showing the same pictures of screens, and that will keep you interested.
But I also feel like that's in the editing, right? Because I think some of the stuff we say probably could be cut down and people would be like, these fucking losers, which maybe people already do. And if you do, that's fine.
God bless you
Whatever.
for listening, right?
Yeah, that's
God,
cool.
Thanks for the listen. We appreciate it. Okay, so at number 10 of the wild theories about The Shining, it was all a dream, which I genuinely hate.
Yeah.
Worst. Number
lazy.
9. Danny's Apollo 11 sweater is Kubrick's confession that he faked the moon landing. Love it. That sweater, I would love.
I mean, that's such a
replica.
troll job by him. It's amazing.
It's
Oh,
incredible.
it's so good. Him being
it's
able
great
to
trolling.
like riff in real time about like, you all think this? Well, let's have fun.
It's amazing.
That was
Oh,
great.
yeah, 100%. 8. The Shining is secretly about CIA mind control experiments. I really like that one
Oh,
too.
that's fun.
Cool.
7. The twins aren't Grady's daughter, which I actually think is a legit theory, and I think could be totally true. I think that one is sound, and I like it.
I corrected them.
I corrected them. Number 6, another one I hate. Wendy is hallucinating the whole thing.
Lazy.
So lazy. Such a lazy take. Number 5, one I don't particularly like, but I do think there is enough evidence in the movie for, is The Shining is about sexual abuse. I think that there's plenty in the movie that does point towards it if you want it to be about that, but it's not something that I personally think about when I'm watching this movie. Number 4, Theseus and the Minotaur. This is something I think about a lot when I watch this movie. I think it's absolutely, totally spot on. I can see why this would be included.
Yeah, that came up a lot in my smart person book on the Minotaur.
Perfect. Yeah, no, it makes sense. Number 3, the horrors of the Overlook represent the horrors inflicted upon Native Americans. Now, we all know that there were so many horrors that were inflicted upon the Native Americans by our ancestors. That's just how it goes. I think there is some
Don't make me
pretty
feel guilty about that. That's not.
there's some pretty overt, obvious.
I mean, they tell you it's built on Native
Yeah.
American burial land.
Exactly, which doesn't come from the book. That actually like originated in the Amityville horror book. But you know, I don't know about this one. Number 2, the horrors of the Overlook represent the horrors of the Holocaust. That's another really big one that I've never really seen myself, but
you gotta really stretch for that one. I
really
feel like.
stretch. Well, you got to really stretch for a lot of these.
Well,
I don't. You know what? I don't see that one, but I actually don't hate that one. Mm-hmm. Because like when you hear people, they're stretching, but I'm like, all right, you're stretching, but you're connecting dots here. I don't see it, but like.
You obviously see it, and I accept that. And then number 1, which honestly is one that I've never really watched the movie and considered, and I think is legit. The Overlook is hell. The Overlook is hell. Sure, why not? So yeah, those are the 10 theories, which I was surprised we didn't have the impossible window in here. We didn't have.
Well, and then there's the one about the kind of Grady and Jack.
Yes.
The each kind of taking turns and rebuilding, and that's why the twins aren't twins in the hallway. That kind of
exactly
connects to that when one's a child, the other one's out there killing at the Overlook for a few years in a row.
Well, I think maybe that's what they meant by the twins aren't Grady's daughter, but they could have gone like farther to be like doppelgangers, right? There are doppelgangers out there. But, you know, that's fair. We can get into that later. But that was my kind of weird list. The other was 10 perfect horror films that are pure cinema. So I'm really glad that we went with the other one because it's a little bit more fun, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
So I didn't write a plot for this, so I'm just going to say one. Jack Torrance goes to the Overlook Hotel because he lost a job because he's drunk and couldn't keep it and kind of a bad man. He gets the job to watch over this really beautiful but haunted hotel, and he brings his wife and his son that he doesn't really like. Lots of stuff happens. He's unable to write a story. He goes crazy for some reason. And then Jack tries to kill his family, and his son, who is also psychic, brings somebody into the fold who manages to die but also leave a way for Danny and his mom, Wendy, to escape, and Jack dies in the labyrinth that there is sometimes in the Overlook and sometimes not. It depends on what the shot is. That's The Shining.
Nice.
Thank you. Great. Let's do some first thoughts. Joey, when did you first come to The Shining?
Had to be college, I think. Yeah. And I've seen it numerous times throughout the years. Something I just like more and more each time I see it.
Me too.
I read the book for the first time. Well, I did the audio book for the first time, just finished today. It's great.
Did you?
It is
It's
completely.
a really good book.
Yeah, it's amazing. It has nothing to do with the movie, but it is amazing. Not
Well,
nothing to do. I'm being dramatic. But no, it definitely made me appreciate the movie, a movie that I appreciate so much. It made me appreciate it even more, which is pretty nuts.
I love that. What about you, Adam? When did you come to this movie?
I feel like pretty late, like maybe close to my 30. Like it just was a movie that it just got past me and I never watched it. And then probably around a Halloween at some point finally turned it on and dug it for what it was. I will say, because, you know, as even a passing film fan, you know, you hear about the differences, you hear about the Stephen King basically like renouncing this version of it. I did also watch the Shining miniseries from the mid-90s.
I saw that you watched that. The amount of respect I have for you for getting through that is pretty outrageous. I didn't make it to the first Tubi break.
So but part of me wanted to do it only because I felt like we were going to get more of the book in it. And the way I understand it is that is true. And
yes,
knowing that that's the case, I just like I'm so glad that Kubrick did what he did. Like I just really am.
It's so funny because in doing this podcast, before we started this podcast, 3.5 years ago, whenever it was,
October's 4 years.
Jesus Christ, that's fucking crazy. I would have probably come out swinging, being like, no, adaptations need to be true to their source material. And I have like really changed my tune on that over the course of this podcast because I've seen what people can do with a story and really make it their own. And that's a really cool growth thing that I've had while we've been doing this podcast. And I was one of those people who I loved the book. I read the book when I was 14. I distinctly remember it because I read it in, I think, a 2 days, because we were driving to like Bend, Oregon and back. And so I was sitting in the back seat and I read half the book while we were driving down. It's like a 6-hour drive. And then I read 6 hours coming back, and I could not put it down. I remember like I had a book light because it was so late and I could not stop reading it. I was really young. And then I watched The Shining during the Seahawks versus the Steelers Super Bowl because I don't like football and I don't like sports, and I got really bored and annoyed because everybody was so mad downstairs watching that game because it was awful, that I went upstairs and I put on The Shining. And my best friend at the time was there with me. We were watching the movie and she like fell asleep during it. And I was like, okay, I like it, but I didn't like the way that Jack Nicholson portrayed Jack Torrance. I was like, this is not the Jack Torrance from the book. I don't like this. I don't think he's very good. And while I appreciated the movie and I found it really disturbing and dreadful, I was really confused by that casting. Now coming back to it as a 37-year-old woman, like 20 plus years later, I've completely changed my tune on that performance. And I really am excited to talk to you guys about it because I actually think that this is like one of my favorite Kubrick films because I love how he took the source material and totally flipped it to something new. Like, it's so cool. And okay, let's get into it then. Like, let's start talking about it. So Joey, you literary corner, you did read the book.
I did. Yeah, I just finished it today. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what your thoughts are.
Yeah, it was great. I really liked it. I think it's one of my top Stephen King books now.
Agreed.
You get such a different version. You get so much more of the pre stuff and got the scrapbook and the history and stuff that you could do in a 1,200 whatever page book. That I'm happy Kubrick made the choices he did and maneuvered it. And, he left things there for you, but then he told enough of the story and let you figure things out by yourself. And I love them together. Like, I'm happy that I read the book while watching the movie because there's stuff like, when he wakes up and he's wearing the Stovington shirt. That's the teaching job he lost because he beat the shit out of a kid.
Yeah.
And put him in a wheelchair. And, like all these things that are
Jack
there.
Torrance is not a good man.
No. And I think like Wendy's very different, especially.
Very
like they
different.
did. But, I loved the book, super into it. But, Kubrick made it his own. And I think that's great.
I think that the changes that that Kubrick made were really important to the story because one thing that I found about this movie versus the book is the movie is so bleak. There is hope within the book. For sure that the ghosts are real.
Yes.
That Danny's actually seeing the ghost, that Jack is seeing the ghost. I actually think that like one of the other than his trauma with his father, one of the reasons that Jack drinks is because he probably has the shine and is trying to dull it, since that's what
I think Dr. Sleep kind of confirms
exactly
that, right? Like and that's why I think Jack, because even Scatman in the book says, he's not Scatman in the book, but he's Scatman in the book. It says, he doesn't say he doesn't have it. He just says he's really blocked it off or some version of it.
He says something like all moms have it to some degree. And he's like, your dad, I can't figure out, which is such a telling line. But also in the book, there's the guarantee that there's an afterlife, right? There's something beyond this that we have to look forward to. Whereas I feel like this is such an atheistic movie that like, even if the ghosts are real, nobody's coming back from that. Like they are just literally stuck in a pocket, in a liminal space, if you will. They're trapped. And if they leave, they're gone. We're all gone after we die. And that is the thing about this film that I love, is how Kubrick was able to interpret the material in such a different way than King intended, which is why King was so mad about it.
Well, and from what I can read about other adaptations he's done so far, and I'm not gonna veer off too much, but what I've read about Barry Lyndon and what I've read about Eyes Wide Shut, it's not a complete obliteration of the source material. And so I think that what he keeps and what he messes with is interesting. And and again, I didn't read the book, but I did watch the miniseries. And so one of the things that I could imagine maybe on the page, because our mind can be the best movie studio that exists, is the topiary garden and the animals doing their thing. Now, granted, maybe just because it was a TV movie and the money was whatever, but seeing that in the miniseries was so bad. It was not scary. It felt like kind of a cheap Stephen King scare. And so I like that the horror is way more psychological in the Kubrick version.
Very much so.
Totally agree. I mean, I think that The Labyrinth is such a brilliant addition that Stanley Kubrick brought to this film. The topiary would not have worked. In the book, it works really well. It's actually, I would say it's pretty scary. It's
very scary. It would be very stupid in the book.
So
in the
stupid
movie.
in the movie. So
it wouldn't work.
stupid.
Just to see every time you turn around, an animal's it would be funny.
It's kind of like in the book, there's a whole thing where Danny is scared of a hose, like a fireman hose.
Right.
And it's really scary in the book. It's terrifying because you're in the mind of a 5-year-old.
Right.
And Stephen King, I think, is a very talented writer, and he's able to really get into those very dark crevices of your mind and scare you. But honestly, seeing a 5-year-old be like, I'm scared of a hose would not be terrifying.
And that moment, again, in the miniseries looks bad.
One thing I did find in my Kubrick and King research, I have a whole thing that's Kubrick versus King, is that allegedly when Kubrick chose to do The Shining, he decided to do it because he wanted to work with Stephen King and because he was allowed to be producer on it. But one of the agreements from King was that he got to write a treatment, and he wrote the treatment, and Stanley Kubrick proceeded to be like, all right, fuck off, I'm not using that, and completely wrote his own. And that was, one of the reasons why King hated it. And then when King did the miniseries, that's the treatment he wrote for Kubrick. He basically was like, I'm going to take my script and show you that it's good. And it's not. It doesn't work. It's not a great script.
Now, no, it's not. And the one, and I don't even want to call it a positive. And I don't necessarily want to broach the subject, but Joe is coming back, so maybe we'll bring it up now.
Yeah, bring it up.
So Wendy Torrance in the miniseries, I don't want to say that she's a formidable opponent in terms of when Jack starts to go off the deep end, but she's more grounded.
Yeah. And
her decisions make a ton more sense in the miniseries.
Yeah.
The Shelley Duvall of this is a lot, and I come in with I don't like her as an actress.
That's
outside of The Shining.
That's fair. I think she's a tough hang, but I would say that first off, the Wendy in the movie is completely different than the Wendy in the book. Wendy in the book is so much more formidable. She really is.
She's fleshed out.
She's fleshed out.
She's a person.
She's stronger. The thing about this version in the movie is I see her as a fully abused person in this.
Yes.
Not only from the perspective of the behind the scenes, which everybody knows about it, so we don't need to go into it, but from just the way that Jack is playing Jack Torrance. He's an abusive asshole from the beginning. We don't have any question from the first moment we see him whether or not he's crazy. What we're questioning is when he's going to snap. And I think Shelley Duvall, in all of the pinafores that she's wearing, in her mannerism, she has really just completely caved in on herself as this character, and I've come to appreciate her performance so much more the more I see it. And she does some really strong stuff throughout the film. I actually do think that Wendy manages to be a very strong person in a very difficult situation, but the performance is tough.
So I've really come to really like that Wendy, because that was 15 years ago that we're talking Lock Martin, but I've grown into it as I've learned things. And really, if she was formidable from the beginning, it wouldn't have made sense because of the fact that she is so abused by Jack, and that Jack is
So
just
abused.
he has taken the life out of her. Because in the book, there's a relationship. There's good and bad. There's ups and downs. Here's just he's a dick, right?
Yeah.
And he's an abusive. So it wouldn't make sense for her to push back early on. Great movie smoker. Just gonna put it out there.
Oh my God.
She's
They
fucking
smoke
phenomenal.
so much.
And she looked great doing it. But I like her, and I like that she has her moment at the end for Danny, and she gets moving, and she kind of. But yeah, I am a Shelley Duvall defender in this.
Now, to loop back in the Kubrick of it all, and yes, like he was.
Yes.
He was pushing her and being verbally abusive on set, and that's all there. And it's again, the more that I read, it's not necessarily like I'm sure that there are other people like making Scatman take that hit like so many times
Oh, yeah.
is also like, and he was old, man. Just let him fucking anyway. But it's crazy to keep reading that like he really did not want believable performances or realistic performances.
Yeah.
Like throughout his filmography, he wants big performances. And, it's kind of the reason why, like, Peter Sellers stands out in his movies because they're just so larger than life. Even, that's Doctor Strange, that's a whole other thing. But, like, when you look at, outside of, like, an Eyes Wide Shut, the leads are way more realistic and honed in. Well, but, like, the side characters, like, I'm all over the place. But that's the thing is, like, I don't like Shelley Duvall's performance. I'm kind of mixed on Jack Nicholson's performance, but it's the more that I read about it, it's clearly what Kubrick wanted.
Yes.
I mean, he clearly wanted these performances. And I think that that's such an interesting thing to want these very over-the-top stylized performances.
And I think it works for the film itself. Like I brought up earlier postmodern horror, which basically, if for the audience, postmodern horror came about in the 60s and 70s, also through the 80s, and we're still having it today, and it's a subversion of overly used tropes within classic horror. So it trades out the big monster reveals, the big jump scares, for ambiguous evil, psychological dread, and the deconstruction of everyday life in violent ways. And this is a very, very good example of postmodern horror, because this is such an ambiguous movie. We do not know what's happening a lot of the time. It's up to the audience to figure it out. There's a lot of continuity errors that I'm curious if either of you think are actually supposed to be there or not. I personally think that Kubrick probably meant for the continuity errors to be there, like the disappearing chairs, the disappearing cigarettes, the changing of certain colors of the typewriter, like certain things I do believe Kubrick put in there so that the audience was unsettled and not able to.
His whole thing is attention to detail,
yes,
right? Like watching when you watch, there's 30-minute YouTube breakdowns of how the cans are turned in the walk-in freezer, and as it turns, when they first go in there with Halloran, they're all turned away, but when Jack gets locked in there, they're all forward, and they're all Native American headdresses because that's taking, like, it's just all the attention to detail that the typewriter's on purpose.
Yeah,
Other things,
that's what I think too.
You take a billion takes of things. I think it's probably on purpose, but, I'm also, we're giving a lot of credit there. That's fine. But, like, things like the typewriter, that's on purpose.
But I want to make sure that I'm not an insane person. When the movie starts, and okay, what is it with Kubrick using, like, finding this music that is simple and repetitive and yet is so effective?
Good.
Yes, it's
when the movie starts,
it gets in your head and just sticks.
And I think it's my shot of the movie. It's just the opening because it's so good.
Yeah.
But like we're following along in that helicopter shot, and the mountains and everything are to the right. But then when they're moving there, everything is to the left.
Yep.
Did I make that up or no? That's okay.
That's totally true. Because also when Dick Halloran is going up to the hotel, the Overlook, he's going down.
Yeah.
And when Wendy and Danny are leaving, they're going up. So it is completely, it's nonsensical. It does not make sense. None of it makes sense. The way you get there doesn't make sense. The way you get back to, I think it's on purpose.
Yeah. I do, just because it's this like the Backrooms. It's kind of this like in between whatever it is where nothing
It's
is.
hell. God, they were right.
It's too easy. It's too easy.
No, I just I think it's such an interesting film because it does subvert so many horror tropes. It's not full of jump scares. It's not the big evil. Like, we see the big bad from the beginning. We know it's Jack. Like, yes, it's the hotel, but we know he's going to be perpetrating some type of evil. Whether or not anybody survives, that's what we're wondering throughout the film. Like,
it's interesting. My niece, she's 12. She's like very into horror movies, and she's trying to get into horror movies. So my sister's kind of allowed it. Like, if I say it's okay, she watches it. Should not be the gauge, but whatever. So I'm being careful. I'm being way more reasonable than I normally would be. But this is one where when like she gets to this one, I am very curious. Because she's not gonna like it, and I just wonder what the discussion will be like.
this is a hard one because I feel like it, and this seems so bratty to say, but I feel like it's really hard to appreciate this on just one watch. I really think it's one of those movies that you have to watch at least 5 times before you can start to really appreciate it. Like, I don't.
The BPC battle for 6 years, but yes, this movie it gets richer with time, and this is a movie that one watch doesn't do it justice. And
no, there's too much in it. Like,
but, because there's the scene when Wendy and Danny are outside, and it just zooms in on Jack making the face,
the bull face. He's like,
it's fucking scary, right?
Yeah.
Like he's in a trance. He's staring. It's evil. It's detached. It's so many different things, and the way it's shot, it's like the hotel is taking over, right? Like the whole
100%.
thing. It's fantastic, but it's not a jump scare.
No.
It's just built in, and it's kind of building up, and that's when it ramps up. So, that's one where you'd be like, okay, where I feel like on a first watch, and I wish I could remember better because I don't remember the first time I watched it, if I felt like that was earned or not. Where it is earned, but like on first watch, I wonder. Just thinking about first watches of things, because my niece has got me making lists and all this stuff, so it's just become a whole thing.
I'm so much more aware of my first watch now that I like talk about movies so much with other people. It's just, I'm like, oh, what did I think the first time? It's difficult to gauge.
I usually am pretty good too. But this one, it was just kind of there at some point.
Well, and the thing about Kubrick's films is that they're filled with iconography. Every single film has an iconic shot, an iconic moment,
100%,
and multiple ones too. And so, even without having seen the movie, you know the here's Johnny, the blood coming out of the elevator, know the twins, like all of that stuff exists. So, the question really for like a new. Like for somebody coming to it who already kind of knows what those moments are is, will they hold up when they arrive? Like the blood coming out of the elevator, I wouldn't say is scary, but it's like, what the fuck is this?
Well,
right. And you know what? I definitely saw The Simpsons, The Shining, numerous times before I saw this. And that tells that's the whole story in 7 minutes.
I mean, it's a fairly simple plot, honestly. If you go into this movie and you don't want to do any analyzing of it whatsoever, it's very simple. Man moves to hotel, goes stir crazy, tries to kill his family, dies in a labyrinth. Like that's the film. But there's so much more below the surface, purposefully put there by Kubrick for us to decipher, for us to figure out, because he wanted us to. And I find that so much more interesting. Going back to the elevator and the blood, it's not scary necessarily, but it's unsettling. It's dreadful. It's the type of thing that I'll think
100%.
about when I'm laying there at night and go, oh God. And then I'll wake up a little bit more and can't go back to sleep, right? It's something that sticks with you. It's that dread that's a part of postmodern horror that I think is really important and very, I mean, I think it's some stuff that we still see today. I mean, think of Backrooms even, where I wouldn't necessarily think that, spoilers for Backroom, that last shot is scary, but it sticks with you, right? It just sticks with you.
Yes, it kind of fucks with you a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how the elevator
watching people
is.
really confused about it is just annoying
Yeah.
too. But, and I think all this is why this movie, because there's so much to it. Like, it doesn't explain anything.
No.
And it gives you endless things to look at, right? Like, I don't like doing more than one episode on movies. I don't mind doing this one because there's so much to it, because we're going to leave here. It's going to be however long it is. And it's going to be like, oh, we could have done it double that, like, easily, because there's just so much.
I'll send Joey a message tonight and be like, I forgot to ask this question. What do you think about this? Just because I'll inevitably do that. And Adam will have put his phone in a lockbox, so he wouldn't answer anyways.
He gives his phone to his director every night. He's like, dang it.
Take my phone. I must study my lines.
I'm off book. Don't do that.
Of course you are. You were off book before you even got there. Okay, so I have a question for you both. I have a couple questions because I like questions. And I don't have an answer to all of them. So,
But some of them, okay.
Some of them. So are the ghosts real? Like, in your opinion, do you think the ghosts in Kubrick's version real? Because I know at first they didn't want them to be real, but they had to include a way for Jack to get out of the pantry. So what are your thoughts? What do you think?
I believe that they're real and they exist in the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think it's tricky because I don't know like how much I want to you build your own lore around, the story that you have, but who takes this job? Who is the kind of person that seeks a job to stay at this place over, and know that these things could happen. Right. And I think that it's not just a reflection of Jack, who is, fucked up and an asshole from the beginning, but then when you have a child who has these special gifts and a wife who you've basically reduced to like subhuman.
Yeah.
And I think it's what's interesting is that question, because Jack sees them and we know that Danny has The Shining. I think it's when Wendy starts seeing it that we have to believe.
We have to believe.
But that it's the Overlook in which these things are.
Yes.
And that's what I think, because it's so much of, someone who has another option isn't going there. Yeah. So you're getting someone who, is, like you said, has tormented, has done all these things because there's nowhere else to go. So when you go there, it gets dark so fast. But, yeah, I fully believe that the ghosts are real at the Overlook. I don't think the twins are hanging in Sidewinder. They're in the Overlook, and that's why, you become part of it.
I think that, it's so interesting because in the book, one of the big differences, because of course I wrote down a bunch of the differences. There's so many differences that I would do, you'd have to do a whole dissertation on it if you wanted to write them all down. But one of the differences is that in the book, ghosts are real and ghosts are everywhere, and there's and so the reason that Jack goes mad is because the ghosts are real and they decide he's the best way to get to Danny because they want his shine.
They can't get to Danny, yeah.
Yeah, they can't get to Danny because Danny's too strong, and they want to get to Danny, so he's got to be killed so that they can feed off of him. Whereas in the movie, I think Jack Nicholson was always going to get there at some point. He was always going to find a way to hurt his family, but the Overlook just kind of bumped up that schedule, right? He was going to get there anyways, and the ghosts just happen to help. They just happen to help him along. But I love the fact that he doesn't get a redemption arc because it's so cheesy at the end of the book.
Yes.
And he's like, Danny, I love you. And bashes himself in the head with a mallet, which honestly, I'm into. What a great visual in the book, not in the miniseries. But I love that Jack doesn't have a redemption in this movie because he doesn't deserve it.
At
He
no
doesn't
point
deserve it.
does he deserve it, right?
No.
Like he's just
Fuck that dude.
absolutely not.
The hard cut to Frozen Jack is one of the funniest things that exists.
I mean, that's a
in
jump
movies.
scare.
It's
so
great.
good.
I love. It's also like there's like a de-evolution of man because at the end it's just like
100%.
it's phenomenal stuff.
Can I also say, Danny is very smart going back through Jack's footprints. Like,
Yeah, good move. I like that.
I don't even think I would have thought about that now, and I'm 37, so Danny's a lot
Danny has
smarter
survival
than me.
instincts, but that's what happens
does.
when your dad dislocates your shoulder when you're 3, right? You learn
Yeah.
how to
Ooh.
placate.
I actually don't think Wendy's being truthful in that scene because, like, we know obviously from the book that he breaks his arm, whatever.
Yeah, no, that's all they fucking talk about. Move on.
Yeah, they just talk about it, both of them. But I think when she's talking to the child psychiatrist, I think she's lying when she's like, "Oh, it's just one of those things. He dislocated his shoulder." I really, truly think she's lying and pretending it's better than it is. I think he still probably broke his arm personally.
Yeah, well, there's a discrepancy in when they say things happen because she tells the psychologist or the doctor that it was like years ago, but he's only been on the wagon 5 months,
Yes.
and that was the deciding factor. So is
exactly.
yes, yeah.
But then
she's not,
also Jack says, "Here's to 5 terrible months on the wagon." And it's like, dude, you've been up here for like a month at least, if not more. So you were drinking until you basically came up here, right? Like, there's a lot of
We meet him
discrepancies with
like
that.
very newly sober.
If that. He probably was nipping on the bottle a bit before.
We don't drink.
We don't. Yeah, as soon as he said that, I was like, all right, spoken like a person who's like, we don't drink, but I'd kill for a beer right now. He's such a fucking asshole. Joey, where is he on your scale of losers?
Jack? No, he's
Yeah.
he's not on that list.
What? He's such a loser.
Yeah, but that's not in the spirit of the list. He's not not a clown. He's a villain.
I also love the fact that Jack Nicholson was actually like a volunteer firefighter, so they had to
was
get a
too
real
good
door
at the
because he was
axe.
too good at the axe. An axe is way scarier than a mallet. Like, if he'd just been running around with a mallet.
Isn't it like it's an oversized croquet mallet,
Yeah.
right?
It's called like roke. It's
Yeah.
like an English it's an English croquet like predecessor.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it would hurt really bad, but it's not as scary as Jack Nicholson with a fire axe. Like,
No.
let's be real.
So the maze scene in the axe. Do you guys see Zootopia 2?
Oh
Yes.
God, I did.
Great.
Sorry.
Yes, grow up. And then
Grow up. Okay, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's a bad choice. And then Ready Player One also
Yes.
does a really good Shining thing. I like that movie, but I know people don't like it.
Oh, I don't have a
haven't seen
problem
it.
with
Because
it.
they
I
hate
don't.
fun. But the Shining part I think is awesome, and the maze is intense.
I would say that I will just go out and say that my favorite shot of the whole movie is the overhead shot of Wendy and Danny running through the labyrinth.
Oh, when he's staring.
Yeah, when he's staring down and then it goes straight into the labyrinth. I mean, not only for it being such a technically incredible scene, like so cool and so interesting, but it is such a great moment to just see how trapped these characters are without having any exposition saying, like, if this was a lesser film, you would have had something like Jack saying, "Right where I want you," right? And then knowing like, oh God, he's going to go after them now. But instead we just have this feeling of being trapped. They're not going to be able to escape. And it's really pushing that trauma onto us where I would like to just like pick those little figurines out and put them somewhere safe, far away from Jack, but we can't get to them. And they're
Just
stuck.
the broadest
like,
claustrophobic movie ever because it's
Yes.
just this big, never-ending mountain landscape and this giant, endless hotel, and it is so small. and so,
So
close
smart.
and so
There's
scared.
a nice throwaway line too that I think Ullman says about like, because Jack asks like, why weren't you open during the winter? You know, I'm sure the skiing would be great, but they talks about like the upkeep and all the snow and how like that road is too hard to keep clear. And so even before we see all the snow, right? You know, we've seen the drive, we've seen the cuts, like, it's not just that the Overlook is scary and this big cavernous place, but yeah, that you're right. They are in the middle of nowhere, and like, you know, there's really no help. There's no help for them.
Nothing.
There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. And that is, you know, I after I watch a movie and I write my notes out, I start listening to what other people have to say about it just because I'm interested, and I like some other opinions just to see if I think they're stupid or if I'm like, oh, that's clever. I'll do a little bit of research into that. And one thing people kept bringing up was COVID recently. And they were like, why would you choose to be in isolation like this? Like, we had to be in isolation and we were in COVID. And every time somebody brought that up, I thought, yeah, but we had the internet. Like, all of us were playing Jackbox games with our friends and like having Zoom calls with them. These people,
I still went to work every day. I don't know.
Right? Like, and there were people that went to work every day. Like I was one of those ones that had to go to work most of the time. So I ended up having to be totally isolated from my family, but I was with, you know, Neil. But we were still calling people. We were still able to have backyard hangouts. This is like total isolation. It is just the three of them. And we watch Wendy as she's like, hey, Ranger, talk to me because I have no one else to talk to. You know,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I think saying that it's similar to COVID is really misunderstanding the type of isolation this is. Like,
Yes.
this is fully cut off from every.
This isn't taking a walk and talking to people across the street. This is
No.
like Jack taking the rigamaroos or whatever the fuck he took out of the radio thing. Like,
Oh,
like whatever the fuck implements he took. But
computer chips? Like, I don't
know.
fucking know.
I don't know anything about radios.
tubes, but whatever that is, it's so you're cutting off any chance because he has no idea about Danny connection to Halloran.
Yep.
So it's just, you know, because you see later he takes the, you know, everything out of the snowplow thing that they have, but man, taking the radio is just so cruel because
So
you know,
devastating.
listen, we're social beings, right? Like, so there's always that part of you, especially when you're isolated, you're especially going to crave it. But on a normal day, people crave connection. So to do that is just, it's brutal and it's torturous. This is what Jack does.
Well, I think about when Wendy goes to talk to Jack when he's been
I was just going to bring
writing.
this up.
Okay, good. Where it's like she's coming to talk to him because literally she's been talking to a 5-year-old all day.
Right.
And I don't have children, but I have friends who have children, and I have a sister who has a child. And sometimes she'll call me and be like, I just need to talk to someone who's not 4.5 for a couple minutes. So can we have a conversation? I'll be like, yeah, absolutely. And that's what that scene feels like. And when he's like, when I'm in here, you don't.
When I'm typing or whatever the fuck I'm doing. Yeah.
Yes. It's so brutal because the devastation on Shelley Duvall's face is palpable in that scene. It was almost my favorite scene. It's not, but it was close.
But because there's nobody else to talk to, and because she's already been beaten down, that she goes, oh, okay.
Okay.
Right.
And she just
Okay.
accepts it
and moves
because
on.
Yes.
This is her reality. And because she's been so abused, she accepts her reality and that if she pushes further, it will get worse.
It will get
Because
worse.
She knows how to survive with him.
And it's going to get worse for her and for Danny.
And she always, and ultimately, she always protects Danny. That's her whole purpose moving forward.
And I do think that in the film, it shows a really good job of her protecting Danny. Like,
I agree. That's her
when-
whole motivation. That's the only time she ever does anything for Danny. For her, she runs and doesn't do much, but for Danny, she does.
Like when she pushes him out that window and she can't get out, I'm like, oh, get out that window. Come on. You're skinny. Get yourself through. You can do it.
Right,
I
like you're
promise.
literally olive oil, like next
You're
to you.
olive oil. Come on.
Come on. Like you gotta.
But
listen,
then
I'll buy the ghosts, but you
Just
cannot
Gumby
convince me
out
she
of
can't
it.
get
Yeah,
out
I
of
know.
the fucking window. Like,
stuck.
break the fucking window.
Break the window. Come on. Well, but then
Like
there's
I'm
also
fine with ghosts opening up a door.
totally
I have no
fine with
problem
ghosts
with that
opening
in
up a
this
door.
In this movie, it's fine because like the
Yeah.
world we live. she's not that incompetent.
Yeah. No, and I think those moments in the movie show me that the Wendy we see is not the true Wendy. The Wendy we see is the very abused Wendy.
Right.
And that's why I've like completely come around on her performance, even though I don't love Shelley Duvall in every performance. I actually really do like her in this movie, but I can understand why she's a tough hang, because it's a tough character.
Well, and it's just, I just wish, like, even like hearing her talk, like I watched the Vivian Kubrick, her little 30-minute documentary,
yeah.
right? And which is like, you're the director's wife. I'm sure people are going to be like on their best behavior.
It's his daughter, right? Wasn't it his daughter?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody related to him. That sounds right. But like they interview her, and I'm not even. I mean, I feel like that. I feel like Shelley Duvall is probably giving that interview under duress. But the thing about her in the interview is like when you listen to her voice, I'm like, wow. There's like, I don't know if it's a character choice or a Kubrick thing, but the way she sounds in the movie, it's like, it's grating, but then you hear her speak as not as a character. And I'm like, fuck, not only where was that in The Shining, where has that been in any film that you've done?
Okay. So maybe here's another thing. This was another question. Because my question was, do we have a reliable narrator in this film from anybody? Can we trust a single thing that we see from anybody's eyes? And there are so many moments where I feel like we are seeing Wendy specifically through Jack's eyes. So I would think that maybe the way she's talking is the way that Jack hears her. Like, that's how Kubrick wanted her to talk, because it's Jack's story. But she also sounds that way in a lot of other movies, so that might just be giving her a lot of credit, and giving Kubrick a lot of credit to be like, be grating. Who knows? But that's kind of what I was thinking. But okay. Besides that, do you guys think that we have any reliable narrators in this film? Is Danny reliable? Is Wendy reliable? Is Jack reliable? Is Dick Halloran reliable? A lot of people think he's reliable.
Well, I was going to say Dick Halloran, I think, is.
Okay, but then a lot of people come up with the fact that like despite the fact that he has the shine, he can't see that Jack is going to kill him, which I do have a theory for why. He can't see everything, and I also think that maybe he goes and he knows he's going to die anyways there, and he goes because he knows it's the only way that Danny's going to survive. Like, that's what I would say to that. But still, maybe he just didn't see it. Who knows?
But he doesn't see everything, right? Like, he's not just sitting out there.
Before.
He's trying, but if that's the only way to get Danny out, would he make the sacrifice?
Yeah.
Listen, and I don't know. I'm pro Dick Halloran.
I don't have a real answer. I feel like the narrator is like, it's an omniscient third person. Because I think about that first shot, right? Of just like, it's this floating camera following.
That's my
Jack.
shot of the movie, by the way.
So good.
It's mine too. Although the top down of the maze was my second.
I mean, the opening was my second, so we're all on the same wavelength.
But there's something about the way in which a lot of the movie is shot, and here's like the most cop-out bullshit answer I can give you. I think that the narrator is Kubrick.
Oh, I totally 100% agree. No, perfect.
And it's just like, because there's something about like, what if there was a person, a being, an entity that like could like test what a person could do? And I think it's like, what are the forces, and you mentioned this a little bit earlier, but like that pushes Jack to go to the Overlook, right? Like, we hear like, oh, our people in Denver, you came highly recommended. Who the fuck are the people in Denver?
Who's this?
Who are these people?
Right. You were just fired from a school in Vermont.
For beating the shit out of a kid. And he'd been there 3 months.
In King's version, right? Yeah. But in their version, I think the person in Denver is Kubrick. That's who I think it is. I don't know. I'm kind of making this up on the fly.
I actually love it though. I think this is such a good theory. You could be in that one that
237.
Yep, 237, room 237.
Except
the first time you would lose all personality and charm. The first time I saw the movie, I did not get it. But what I did was I watched it.
What I did is I played it forwards and backwards
and
at the same time.
I read some books, and from the books, I thought some. Documentary stinks. I don't know why people like it so much.
Have you
People
guys
are like,
watched
"Ooh, have you
any
seen
of
it?"
the other documentaries by this filmmaker?
Oh no, I didn't know there was more.
Oh yeah, no, he did one on sleep paralysis, which we all know. I obviously
Because that's what
have.
he gives people.
Yeah, exactly. I wish that's why I had sleep paralysis. But like he did one on sleep paralysis that
He's
I really
the most
hate.
common sleep demon in the world now. You watch his documentary
probably.
and he haunts you. Like,
He haunts you. He's like, "Did you like my cheap editing?"
I'd like Britt the hand.
Ooh. Yeah, obviously your sleep paralysis demon has to have jazz hands. It's actually he's actually
I found
just
the
coming
most
out of all that
uninteresting
jazz.
people
It's
you've
fine.
ever heard about, and I've asked them their opinions on interesting things, and they say nothing. And I just keep
Absolutely
showing you the same images because I'm a dork. Yeah,
That's fair.
It's a tough hang. I had
mean-
seen it once before, and I was like, you know what? Let me rewatch it. Like, I must have just seen it in a bad place. I've heard people say like good things about it. I was like, I just wasn't in the right headspace. There is no right headspace.
What I think the part, like the reason to watch it, if you're a film nerd, is for like it's like the short things. Like
Yes.
one thing that I really thought was interesting is the TV not being plugged in.
Yes.
Well, that's
That's
odd.
cool.
Most TVs I know, they need to be plugged into something.
Yes.
So like that's an interesting thing. You know, and like the impossible window. Like
Yes,
huh.
the impossible window. That's my favorite one, actually. I really
and so-
enjoy that.
Now, when we get into like, you know, this movie's about, you know, like it's a
The
secret
moon landing.
Holocaust or the moon landing or like it's like okay, and listen, there are plenty of times. I mean, I remember when Ian and I talked about Stalker, where I was like, oh, I got a whole thing about what Stalker's about. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sure people are like, dude, you're fucking crazy. Like, I might be, but
If people go back
I-
and listen to our witch episode and listen to me talk about the witch, I'm sure they think I'm fucking crazy too. Like it's, and I think that's one of the things about this documentary that I find really just mean spirited is he cut it in a way that like, yes, these people are probably tough hangs. Like these people are not very charismatic.
He didn't protect them.
But he didn't protect them at all. He actually went out of his way to make them sound like bigger losers than they might be. And that's where I was like, I was rewatching it today at work and I was like, this actually like gives me the ick. Like I feel like, why are you're making a documentary to make fun of people, and that does not sit well with me. Like that's where I drew the line and was like, okay, maybe these people aren't like fun, but don't be mean.
Right.
Like,
I'm not going to change my answer, but I almost want to make the Lock Martin winner the guy who made Room 237.
oh my God. I
But
love that.
But I'm not going to do that.
I like mine, so I'm not going to, but maybe we can just collectively say our Lock Martin award would go to him if we all had to choose one together.
Yeah,
that guy
he
sucks.
My scene of the movie
Ooh, yeah.
is the all work and no play.
Me too.
with Jack and Del Boy.
Me
I think
too, me
that's
too.
From her finding it, I think that's some of her best reacting as she's reading it. I love that someone sat there and wrote that all out like a psychopath.
You can tell by the typos.
Yep, I think it's fucking
It's
awesome.
so great.
Uh,
and that
it's-
somebody tried to make like prose.
Yeah.
Like, and here's some verse lines.
Fucking
It's great.
believable. And then the whole thing with the like all through the bat, like you know, I think there's nothing better. I will watch this movie forever because of those like 7 minutes. I think it's absolutely untouchable.
I totally agree. And the only thing I will add to that is the turning point of the movie where it is no longer safe. Before then, it felt like maybe they're going to be like, we know they're not okay, but right now they are. As
Right.
soon as she finds those, you're like, oh, fuck, they are
Right.
going to die. Like,
It
they're going to
completely
die.
changes it because even if you're not sure, like, because at that point it's still like, how far along is Jack? Where is he? Like, where is he in there? Like, there's so much. The second you see that and she starts flipping through it, it's so good.
Yep.
Listen, she's one of the worst bat swingers I've ever seen in my life, and I've coached 3-year-olds, they're 6-year-olds at this point. But you know what? It's so good, and I think the both of them are so good in that scene. And I really like Jack talks about how great he thinks she is in that scene because of just how hard it was and how many takes, and he gives her a lot of respect for that, a lot in this movie, but especially that scene. Everything about it, I love it.
Love
It's probably my easiest scene of the movie ever.
Yeah, I totally 100% agree. Same scene of the movie. Adam, what about you?
It's mine too.
Oh, great. 3 for 3.
There was nothing that was really going to beat it. This time around, the scene with Grady in the bathroom.
Really good. That was
it's a great scene.
Impression.
Great scene.
And and I know I got to give credit where credit is due. Philip Stone, also in Clockwork, also in Barry Lyndon.
Yeah.
Pretty small part, but he's in
Clockwork
there.
Orange, what's that?
It's this movie.
What?
It's a Kubrick film.
Crazy. We should.
Cool.
I'm sure thoughts were had at some point. But he's like when it turns, and actually that's the thing, is like so many scenes in this movie, it's like fine, and then there's a flip.
Yeah.
And when
Very
Grady just
subtle.
starts staring at him,
Yeah.
And it's so
and like,
still.
no, you've always been the caretaker. It's just like holy shit. It's really it's another dread-inducing
Yes.
moment. Like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And why are you fucking so scary right now?
It's those moments that make me think like this actually is a terrifying movie. Like, it might not be scary in the moment, but when you're continuing to think about it later and it's continuing to affect you, that's how I judge a movie that really scares me.
And because you've always been the caretaker. What does that mean? And like, how far? Like, what's real? What is real to Jack versus what's real to us? Like, who is all this? And
Yeah,
man, the actor does such a great job.
He's so
and you know,
good.
it's so funny because in Clockwork Orange, he's the dad. He's so different. Like, for a guy to be pulled in. I don't remember who he is, Barry Lyndon. I can't wait to rewatch and pop up.
He comes in late. He's like he helps
seen
manages
Barry
the
Lyndon.
finances. But like it's like the last
Okay.
fifth of the movie, maybe.
Right, but okay. I think that makes sense. But yeah, so really good. It's just, I spilled my bourbon on you into a really unsettling scene.
yeah, into kill your family and give us your son.
Right.
I love it. It's such a good one. Unsung heroes. Do we want to go to unsung heroes? And of course, for the audience, this can be on or off the screen. It's just written down, so I figured I would say it.
Mine is Scatman Crothers.
Hell yeah.
I think he's just the answer for anything he's in. He'll always be my unsung hero, my participation trophy. Whatever podcast I'm on, if he's in there, he's getting.
He's so good. He's so good. I love Dick Halloran, and I love how protective he is of Danny immediately. Like,
Yep.
in a way where he knows this kid needs somebody
Yep.
to be on their side, somebody who's strong enough to be on their side. I totally agree with that. I think that's great. He's not mine, but I wholeheartedly agree. Adam, do you want to say yours?
Yeah, I specifically now, it's funny, the shots that we talked about are these like very high aerial shots. But so my unsung hero is Garrett Brown, who was the Steadicam operator, because
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
all of those shots of Danny riding his tricycle through the overlook are just fucking awesome.
Awesome.
And Kubrick wanted the Steadicam low to be from the perspective of a child, until it's not, which is also a really cool choice when he does that later. But like, there was a ton of fucking Steadicam in this movie, and you got to give that guy some credit, because that's a lot of moving
good.
around with that camera.
It's so
Yeah.
good. And the Steadicam was such a new thing for this style of film. And now we see it constantly, right? And it was just, there's so many things in this film that were so innovative that people do to this day. And yet you still have people that are like, it's boring. And I'm like, well, okay, what do you like? My unsung hero is Ray Lovejoy, who edited this film, because I think the editing is so good. I, again, think that the continuity errors are on purpose. And I just think it's put together so well. I really love following this movie. Yeah, even though I know that Stanley Kubrick was editing it for his entire life. Like, there's
I was just gonna
yeah.
quick addendum. And I'm pissed because it's not gonna come in until tomorrow. I ordered the UK version.
You did.
Oh, really?
Because and this is again one of those things where and I've like kind of on and off ranked Kubrick films like through all the episodes we've done, and my list is going to be wildly different than it ever has been before.
Wait.
But Ian so strongly recommended the UK version. He said it's shorter, it's more streamlined, and I ordered it, and it was supposed to come today. And I thought after rehearsal, I'd get a chance to watch it before this, and then it didn't. But for the ranking,
Cool.
I will have watched it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyways.
That's really awesome. I'm jealous. Maybe I'll try to find it somewhere on the internet. I don't know if I want to go.
It was fucking hard. I tried.
It's hard.
Not illegally.
No, we never would do
finding
anything
it.
illegally.
But I really could. I tried.
It's really
I could
hard
not
to
find
find.
it.
It's really hard.
I don't
to
know.
find.
I don't even know how to find movies illegally. So, like, I wish I knew how.
Joey's like, that's fine. I'm just gonna spend $20 a movie.
Yeah,
Whatever.
no, I don't know these cool special ways you guys do.
It's actually, listen, I'm a lame ass. It's not that hard. It's actually pretty easy.
I'm also not very good at that kind of stuff, and it's pretty easy to figure out. We could probably give you like a list to follow, and you'd be fine.
Not incriminating ourselves.
Absolutely
in
not.
any way,
We don't
shape,
do
or
that.
form.
We don't do that ever. We pay for every single movie we've ever watched. Does anybody have a favorite line they want to say? I just think there are so many good lines in this. My personal favorite is when everything starts going crazy, and when Jack Nicholson says, "God, I'd give anything for a drink. I'd give my goddamn soul for just a glass of beer." Such a good line, because as soon as he says that, that's when the ghosts show up. It was like, ghosts are brought by beer. Same with me. If there's beer there, I'll probably be there. So it works out. So that's my favorite line of the movie, because, it starts all the ghosty stuff off, and I love ghosts.
I have so many. You know what? Honestly,
yeah.
I like. I don't know. There's so many.
Yeah, there's so
Pretty
many.
much everything Jack says.
Want to
is
bash
more-
your head in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've let you fuck up my life so far, but I'm not going to let you fuck this up.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes!
it's so, and I think this time around, and again, I'm kind of taking this from the book, but also it informed my viewing. I think this is really commenting on what it is to be a dad, and like a bad dad.
Yes.
And
Yes.
there's just like this idea that like his life would be so much better if he wasn't burdened with this fucking wife and this stupid kid. Like,
Yeah.
it is crazy. And the other thing too, and this idea of like whether or not Jack can shine as well, there's a little bit, and this exists in all kinds of literature and in real life, but it makes me think of Fences, where like part of Troy doesn't want his son to play sports because he got screwed over, even though his son could go on to do good things. I mean, I think in a real way, Jack, this hotel is talking to him, but he's like, your son is special.
And he's like,
Guess who's not special?
I'm not fucking
Jack's
special?
not special.
Yep.
Exactly. And there's just so much about like to be jealous of your own kids, and like, don't we want our kids to grow up and do better and be better
If
than
you're
we
healthy, not Jack.
Yes, exactly.
Jack wants to be great. Jack just, family for Jack is how to look normal.
It's so interesting because in the book, there is a lot of tension between Jack and Wendy, because they're both jealous of whoever Jack is paying attention to more. But I think that it's more interesting in the movie that the jealousy is really between Jack and his son. Like the moment where he's like, I love you. And he's like, gives him that weird hug, and he's like, you never
when he
heard
goes
us,
to get his
right,
truck?
Dad?
Yeah.
He's like, I just
Great
want to get
scene.
it's a great scene, but it's so obvious the resentment that he feels for his son. And there's a lot of theories that that's like the scene where that he's abusing his son. And I mean, like, yes, you can read into it that way, but I read into it as he fucking hates his son, because he's like, how dare you be here? How dare you be here and take everything away from me? That's how I personally read it. And
Jack
I think
sees himself as the next lineage of like the great man, and he's
he's going to be the next great American writer.
And he's not. And then his son is great. That's so great that ghosts are coming out of the woodwork for him.
Yeah, the ghosts are like, bitch, we're going to come out. We're going to throw you a big party so you kill your son so we can have him, because he's that cool. I just think one of the reasons why Stephen King was so vindictive against this film is because when he wrote this book, and he's known for putting himself into everything, but I really think Jack Torrance is very much Stephen King, and one of the ways that he dealt with his alcoholism, and one of the ways that he dealt with his own father's like the fact that his father left him when he was a kid. He didn't have a father figure. His own resentment of his children, not because he didn't love them, but because it was very hard being an alcoholic and having children, whatever. You know, he had a lot of issues. And I think that
And he wrote this while he was getting sober.
Exactly. He wrote this while he was getting sober. So he saw Jack Torrance as this hero that was just had a lot working against him, whereas Stanley Kubrick saw Jack as a fucking asshole and wrote him as a fucking asshole. Right. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. Like, that's fair for you to hate it, but you can't say it's not good, because this is actually like a fucking banger of a flick. Like, it's really well done, and this is a totally different Jack Torrance than your Jack Torrance. So if you took a moment to realize that he was writing a completely different story, then maybe you could appreciate how great it is. I think Stephen King got a little bit, he needed to calm down a little bit. Like, come on. You sold the rights.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly.
You sold the rights. Just enjoy the money.
Listen,
how
if you want to take,
sorry,
I'll write
again.
something for you. You could pay me, and you can do whatever the fuck you want with it.
All right, Stanley Kubrick, make me an asshole. That's fine.
I
If you're
don't
still
give a
alive.
shit.
You know, he's been dead for years at this
As long
point.
as, long as the check cashes.
As long as I get that cash. And if it makes money at the box office, I want to cut. What were you going to say, Adam?
Oh, well, just how differently film history would be if this is something I didn't know. So apparently, after Barry Lyndon, Warner Brothers approached Stanley Kubrick. He was one of 5 directors approached to direct Network.
Whoa,
And,
really?
Yeah, and that did not. Patty Chayefsky rejected that proposal. But knowing how long it took Kubrick to do projects, if he does Network, A, Network is totally different, obviously, but B, I don't think we get The Shining.
Right.
No,
Just with how long
definitely
it
not.
took him to do all these
Well,
projects.
he also was offered The Exorcist, but he wasn't going to be allowed to produce it, so he said no. And that's when Friedkin came in. And like, I think same thing. We would, I think if he had taken any of these projects that he was offered, we wouldn't have gotten The Shining. Like, and then the only Shining we would get is Stephen King's shitty TV series. Like,
And we wouldn't have Dr. Sleep.
we wouldn't have Dr. Sleep, which we can take a second and we can talk about Dr. Sleep if we want to, because it's fucking great. Like, it
The
is
scene
a
with the
good-
baseball boy is
Oh,
so fucking
Yeah.
scary.
Man.
And Ewan
It's-
McGregor is great in it.
You know what? I'm not a big Ewan McGregor fan. I guess I just don't like anybody. I say that about everybody. But I think he's fine. I think he's totally good in this movie. I don't like Rebecca Ferguson very much, and I think she's amazing as Rose the Hat. Like, I am unfortunately fully on board with her, and I'm like, actually, maybe I would also join.
I
the
would.
True Knot.
I would.
Like,
I'll just tell you, I would.
I'll be a part of the True
Take-
Knot. Why not?
just-
Take me.
Take the smoke out of me.
Sounds good.
She-
Sounds
yeah.
good. Rebecca Ferguson and Crow Daddy. Like, I'll go. I'll go with you anywhere. I really think it's a very interesting sequel that manages to marry the two sources. Like, how cool is that? Mike Flanagan, why are you so cool? I am excited for your Exorcist because, oh my God. It's really good. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. There are a lot of people that
Yes.
don't like it, though. Have you guys seen that on the internet? Like,
Yeah, and they're fucking morons. Like,
Have you
it's
been
great.
on the internet?
I mean, yes, the internet is just a cesspool and everybody hates everything. It's like now people are turning on Obsession and being like, Obsession is actually not good, you guys. And here's the reason why. And I'm like, all right, loser, have fun with being by yourself in your basement, not liking anything. That's how I feel. Lock Martin Award. All right, you guys, our favorite new addition, Lock Martin Award. I'll go first. So, for an all-knowing being, I think Tony is really bad at warning Danny about what's going to happen in the Overlook. Like, yeah, let's send a 5-year-old visions of blood and hope that he's mature enough to handle that. Good job, Tony. You screwed over the Torrance family with your vague visions and cryptic clues. Who the hell knows what red rum means? Come on, man. I think Tony sucks, especially because he's supposed to be Jack Torrance, or not Jack Torrance, Danny Torrance in the future. So, like, what? He knows what he was like as a 5-year-old. Why would you send yourself those weird visions? Oh my God. So mine is Tony. Tony sucks. Bad imaginary friend.
So mine is, if you're living in a hotel and you are one of 3 people living in the hotel, why would you ever have your wallet on you?
I mean, that's fair. That's so fair.
The fact that you're wearing jeans is out of control. The
I
fact that
mean-
you would have a wallet on is
Legit.
that might be the most psychotic thing he does.
You don't know. Maybe the ghost put it in his pocket.
No, he had it. You know what he had? He got 220. I got a 20 and 2 10s. Exactly what
Just
he
in
had.
case he needs them.
It's fucking
Just in
unhinged.
case.
And
Yep.
listen, you know, the cigarette machine's right outside of his room, so it's bullshit. It's the
Yep.
most insane. Like killing kids, his wife and kids is second to carrying his wallet around.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
I like that you're okay. You guys went really in like the story of the movie. So
I can't wait.
so in the
Killing your child?
So in the little behind the scenes documentary that was made, there's a moment when they're trying to shoot Shelley coming out of the front door of the Overlook,
Yeah.
and it's cold, and they're trying to make the snow, and Kubrick's getting mad because they're outside freezing, and he's calling her to come out, she doesn't come out, and then they cut to Shelley Duvall being like, they didn't say that, they didn't say action, and so I went to somebody was giving me soup, and I went to eat soup, and then I got yelled at. Why is somebody feeding her soup during an active shoot? That person should be fired. Is that person not seeing Kubrick yell at her every fucking day? Why?
Maybe they were just trying. They're like, it's the one moment he can't see me be nice to her. Right? Like, oh my God.
But just like this poor
PA.
Also, why is she eating soup?
Just wait. I
only
swear
thing she
they'll wrap at some point. You
I mean,
can
it's
go get
Kubrick.
some
Who knows?
soup.
Maybe on a shot 65.
But they were shooting in England, right? And they're really pretentious.
They're really particular.
With their filming rules.
Yeah,
So
you have to have tea time. I'm not kidding.
The fact that somebody was trying to feed her soup during like a shot.
Legit.
That's probably some
That just
atrocious
really-
something like pea soup or some shit.
Split pea soup. Oh,
Something gross.
So that's mine.
oh no,
that's
legit.
really
I think that's
funny.
legit. Is there anything else you guys would like to bring up? I mean, like the thing is we could probably talk about this movie for
Ever.
but we're clocking in at like an hour 30 at this point, so I feel like that's a pretty solid length for the episode, and I feel like we've touched on quite a few things. But is there anything else you two really just want to discuss before we ask our question?
Just 2 things really
Yeah,
quick.
of course.
And the book mentioned this, and there's a lot of ways that you can think about this, but reflections and duos
Yes
came up a lot. And not just the literal way in which, we see Jack a lot through the mirror. Obviously, Red Rum, reversed murder, and that's a big reveal when the time comes. But the idea, though, of like 2 sides of something, right?
Yeah.
The twins, the 2 Gradys, if that's how you want to look at
Yeah.
it. But like, even just like, Jack to Danny, Danny to Dick, Wendy and Jack, like watching these 2, like the 2 sides of things, I thought was really interesting. There's a revere in the reflection of the beautiful woman who comes out of the tub
Right,
into the creature before us molding and whatever the hell is going on
For
there.
a hag, I love a hag in a movie. Like justice for our hag. Like good for you, lady. Scare the shit out of Jack. He deserves it.
Yeah, and she did.
She did.
I think yeah.
She sure did. Well, I was listening to somebody talk about how that scene really feels like they're emasculating Jack, because she's just cackling at him, like she's enjoying it so much, and I'm like, yeah, bitch, do it, make him suffer. So I totally agree. But it's so interesting, the use of mirrors in the movie and how many shots we get that are through mirrors, how many shots we have where you see Jack walk past a mirror and his demeanor almost changes as he's like in the mirror. It's very fascinating. And again, one of the reasons why I think like a lot of the continuity errors have to be on purpose, because Kubrick was so specific about those shots. He was so specific about what was seen in a mirror, what we were shown, how Red Rum was shown to us. So you could see it said murder. So I just think a lot of it had to be on purpose. He's unfortunately too smart for that. Like, he just is genuinely that good.
And the only other thing was the score is so effective, but I really don't know if in other viewings I recognize the chanting that's kind of mixed into it. The like, whoa, it's like the Overlook is like groaning, moaning to be heard. I'm sure I've clocked it before, but taking notes and stuff this time, like I really noticed it this time around.
I always love that type of that type of sound in music when it's used in a score. It reminded me a lot of, honestly, the score of The Witch with all of the you know what I mean? Like that's what it was like hearkening back to, and it almost feels like a ritual, right? It almost feels like they're doing something to ensure that they can rise again and be seen through the shine, and I really appreciate that. No, I totally clocked that too, and I thought it was so good. I love the score of this movie. I think it's brilliant. I think it really adds to this. I think this could have easily been a film where someone was like, I don't think it needs any music, because there are a lot of films where people are like, I don't want music. I just want it to happen. I want it to be an experience. And I think Kubrick could have chosen that and didn't. And it's a far stronger film for having the score that it has. All right. Are we ready for our question? Okay,
yeah.
So The Shining is currently in the book of 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die, along with like 18,000 other Kubrick films. Not quite as many as Hitchcock, but close. And we'll start with Joey. Joey, do you think that The Shining should be included in the book of 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die?
Absolutely. One of the best horror movies ever made. Maybe one of the best movies ever made. It's awesome. Everybody should see it numerous times.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love it. Thank you so much for your very correct opinion. Adam, what do you think?
Short answer, yes. I do think, like, on its own merit as the film, I think it should be in the book. And something that we'll probably discuss when we get to the ranking is like, how high up this list, on this list, does this film rank for you, and how many films should he have in the book?
Yeah.
That'll become an interesting question, is to kind of figure out like what is that number and then what movies are they, because then it's like, should The Shining be in the book? Yes. How many films of his should be in the book, and are these the right ones? I think a question for another day, but yes, I do think The Shining should be in the book.
I totally agree with that. It's really funny because I feel like I come in as the hater most of the time, especially with things that are like, well, Kubrick's great. And I'm like, oh, sure, Kubrick's great, whatever. I'm going to arbitrarily decide that I don't love Kubrick. And then in rewatching films, I'm like, fuck, he is really good. Like, just, he is. I got to stop being a brat and just admit to it, right? And I can't yet. Maybe one day I will, like on our director ranking episode. But 100%, I do think this movie should be in the book. I just think it's brilliant. I think it's so good. It's one of my favorite Kubricks, if not my favorite, to be perfectly honest. Doesn't mean it's going to come number one, but I really genuinely love this. I think it's one of the most important postmodern horror films out there, and it's totally worth watching at least 5 times in your life, so you can really start to dive into it and try to decipher what the Overlook is trying to tell you. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for listening to our episode on I was about to say 1001 by 1 on The Shining by Stanley Kubrick and Stephen King, but that's his book, not his bad miniseries, which we're not going to do a 1001 by 1 by 3 on, because that would just be torture. Please let us know what you think. Do you rate The Shining? Are you in the camp where you think, it's fine? Or do you also love it as much as we do? Let us know on the socials. We're everywhere. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on Blue Sky, where Joey talks to himself sometimes. We're on other things, Facebook, maybe. Just find us. We're nice and we like chatting. But yeah, we're continuing down this Stanley Kubrick rabbit hole. Adam, what are we discussing next time?
Well, we are discussing a movie that when I talk to budding film people who are in their 20s, they call this the Illuminati movie.
Yeah.
It might be the movie that killed him. But we are talking about his last film, and we are talking about Eyes Wide Shut. So that will be the last one we cover specifically before we get to the ranking.
I've only seen this once, so I'm looking forward to rewatching it. I can tell you this now, Adam, that about a week ago, I sent Joey a message and said, there's a 3.5-hour YouTube video about if this movie killed Stanley Kubrick due to the Illuminati. I probably shouldn't watch it. And he was like, you absolutely shouldn't. And I proceeded to watch it. So I am diving deep down that rabbit hole. I can't wait to share with everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be a trip. So so that was The Shining. But until next time, I am Adam.
I am Britt.
And I continue to be Joey.
And we will see you for Eyes Wide Shut.